Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Raid Shadow Legends. Today we're going to take a look at the new fusion that is not for the faint of heart. It is not an easy one. It is extremely difficult, and if you have not been saving, you're going to have a hard time. That said, the unit itself is really great, and the Epic Void Champion that you can also get even if you don't get the final fusion is also really fantastic. So again, thank you so much for sponsoring this video. I super appreciate it. And if you want to download Raid Shadow Legends, you can do so in the description below, and you get all these things for free. You get 100k silver, you get a stamina refresh, you get some rubies there, and you also get an executioner, one of the units we've shown off a bunch of times before. And yeah, I hope to see you joining me here soon. And imagine not having Raid Shadow Legends on your phone. So let's get into this here and talk about this fusion. It's in the news here, and it's even titled Extreme Fusion Challenge. The time has come for our toughest fusion event yet, letting you get your hands on the ferocious legendary champion Brakus the Shifter. This will be a hard-fought challenge, but for those who succeed, the reward will definitely be worth it. I just want to say, this is a weird thing to think about in a gacha game. Like, there are not many events in gacha games, I find, that are not really finishable by everyone, if that makes sense. So I, on one hand, really like this, and on one hand, I really don't, depending on what side of the fence you're on, but I'm gonna try my best to get them, and I hope I do. We need these champions here. You can get them all through in-game means. If you've been saving, of course, you can maybe do it free to play if you've been really lucky, but it might be pretty difficult. So we get the Snorting Thug here, which you can get from the Summon Rush from the 20th to the 22nd, or it's fused by the 4 champions below, which are Sorceress, Rotting Mage, Mystic Hand, and Malbranch. You get those from 4 different places, from Arena Assault Champion tournament thingy. You can also get them from the Fire Knight tournament, and you can also get the other 2 from Ice Golem's Peak and Catacombs of Narbuk. Next one up is Umbral Enchantress. She's the new Void unit, and she's really great. We'll look at her in a second, possibly. And you can get 2 of her, 1 to fuse and 1 to use yourself. One of them comes from the Champion Chase tournament, which is rough. It's 6,000 points to get her. It is extremely hard to do, and you're probably not going to get her this way without hardcore whaling. And the second one is a champion training event, which is 8 days, and you need to really work for this one too. You've got to have a lot of fodder saved. You've got to be good to go, and it is rough to get her here too, but you can definitely do this if you've been saving and not promoting anything and just waiting for this event to come. Next up, we have the Defiled Sinner, and he's fused from 4 different champions, from the Spider tournament, from the Summon Rush tournament, which is on the same one as the one from above, right? We can get him from the Summon Rush. Yeah, you can get Snorting Thug from the Summon Rush too, from also Fire Knight's Castle, and from the Dungeon Divers event from the 21st to the 23rd. All those are available in game with a bunch of grinding. Corpse Collector 2 is available from the Champion event, which is on now. 1 from Spider's Den, 1 from Dragon's Lair, and 1 more from the Dragon Tournament, which is the one going on now as well. So this is a really, I can't say really enough, tough fusion, but it's super rewarding if you can get it done. And if you can't get it done, I'm sure they'll rerun something like this again in the future, so you might as well just try your best to get as many rewards as you can and maybe get one of those Umbral Enchanters. So if we take a look at the the champion training event here, it's actually not bad for some things, like getting these divine crit or these regular critical rate, and these regular critical rates here are not too bad. There's also a 6-star one here, and we get the Umbral Enchantress at 19.4 thousand, which is, that's gonna be tough in this amount of time, but we can get there. We'll try our best. And I don't know if there's one in Dungeon Divers here. No, there isn't. That's one of the previous ones. But if we look at the tournament as well, there are 2 tournaments that just opened up. I haven't actually looked at these even yet. We've got the Dragon Tournament, which just started. That coincides with the Dungeon Grinding Tournament too, so you can get to 2 of those at once. This one comes with the Hero Specs, I believe, at the top. Also some chickens, which you're going to need for the events as well. And the Champion Chase one, this is the hardcore whale one. Like, this is whale and a half for sure. You've got this one here, which you can get, and there's also getting her at 6,000 points, which is something basically nobody is going to do unless you're super, super, super whaling. We'll see how high. Yeah, and of course, the people super whaling are almost there already, which is hilarious to me. Yeah, so that's the ones we can see in game already. We'll take a look at the new unit here. This is Brakus the Shifter. He is a really cool looking typical werewolf, got some spikes on his shoulder, only one shoulder pad. And his first skill here is just a single target damage, and it also heals him for 15% of the damage inflicted. This is really good because it means you don't have to put him on a lifesteal set, so you can get a ton of stats that way instead. And he also has Full Moon Rampage, which does the same thing. One enemy a bunch of times, and it heals them for the damage inflicted, 25% of it. And it also heals his champion by 50% of the damage inflicted instead, if the target is under fear or true fear. And also, after the first hit, has a 75% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 3 turns. Really, really strong single target ability, and of course you can increase those with the skill ups there. His Hunter's Howl has a 50% attack buff for all allies, and it also attacks the enemy 3 times. And also, you can place True Fear on everybody too. So really, really, really like this, and I really like the idea behind him. He's a werewolf, so his idea is to take a bunch of damage, do a bunch of damage, heal it all back up. His passive here, damage increases by 40% when the champion's HP drops below 40%. So when he goes under there, you're going to be able to use your Innocent Blood or your Full Moon Rampage and just go back to full. And also revives his champion with 20% HP when killed and immediately grants an extra turn. So if you kill him, comes back to life, gets some death and destruction on the enemy, heals back up to full, and it's on a 5-turn cooldown, so we can kind of cycle that through a lot of times. This is a really, really good unit, and I think that's why they made this such a hard fusion to do, because it's just such a valuable unit. One of the other units that just came out, I believe she's a dark elf, right? She's not a dark elf. She is a... Come on, Mango, you can do this. Undead. No, she's a demon spawn. She's a demon spawn. She's a demon spawn, and she is right here. So this is Umbral Enchantress here. She's one of the newer voids added as well. We've got a target here, which is damage proportionate to the current champion's current HP and defense-based attack. Also attacks all enemies. 80% chance of placing block buffs debuff for 3 turns. And the important thing, Undying Evil, and this one is really confusing to a lot of people. I see a lot of people not really understanding what's going on and why this is so good. But this is an AoE attack and has a 100% chance to place Provoke debuff for 2 turns. That is 2-turn Provoke, 100% chance. It also places an unkillable block on herself for 2 turns, places a block cooldown skills debuff on herself, again for 5 turns, and block cooldown skills cannot be resisted or blocked and cannot be removed. So basically, what this does is make her unkillable while the provoke happens, and just lets her tank. Lets her tank, and a 2-turn AoE provoke is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers, 100% chance. This is somebody that is going to be extremely, extremely good, I think. And she's got the outfit to match too. I love how she has a skull down there. That is hilarious. But I think a lot of people are really underestimating Umbral Enchantress, and I think she's going to be just absolutely flipping fantastic. There's also a couple new units. This one is Duchess Lilitu. Duchess Lilitu. A void, no, not a void, a spirit legendary that I'm probably never going to get. It would be nice if I did, but I'm probably not going to. She's got a pretty cool skill set too. She attacks an enemy 2 times, and then she places a shield buff equal to 10% of the champion's max HP for 2 turns on the champion with the lowest HP. So I really like that. I love the single target damage things. It's not going to do much damage at all, but defense base, which is nice. And then puts a shield on somebody to keep them from dying. Her skill 2 has a 50% attack buff and blocks debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. Also places Perfect Veil on allies except this champion for 2 turns. That means they can't be hit, or can't be targeted, I mean. And Spectral Rebirth here revives all dead allies with 70% HP, which is just kind of a lot of HP, and that seems really good on a 4-turn cooldown. And it also places a Veil buff on all allies except the champion for 1 turn. And it also puts 15% continuous heals on all allies for 2 turns as well. And her passive, oh boy, her passive. She's got decreased damage taken by all allies from AoE attacks by 25% or 15% for bosses, and decrease the damage by all allies from AoE attacks by 40% if an ally is under the Veil buff. So that is a lot of AoE damage reduction. I think she's going to be integral and pretty insane for a lot of things. I can see her used in specific content that really has tons of AoE. Maybe Hydra when it comes out, maybe PvP as well. I think she's got a really, really cool skill set there. And let's not forget about the turtle. We've got to talk about the turtle. He's a skinwalker, just kidding. He's a lizard man. And this is Kris the Ageless. And Kris the Ageless is really, really, really cool. He is straight up a turtle. Love his design here. Straight up a turtle. And of course somebody got him. Of course somebody got him already. That's insane. He's been here for like 3 seconds. Somebody's already got him. Anyways, enter the morass here. Attacks all enemies. Has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed buff for 2 turns. That's a decreased speed buff AoE on a skill 1. 50% chance with the skill ups. Skill 2 is an AoE attack, places attack protection buff on all allies except the champion for 2 turns, and places 2 15% heal buffs for 1 turn on the champion itself. Also increases the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. Seems really good for clan boss. And his final one here places a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, places a 60% increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns, and places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. And this is a blessing and a curse, to be honest. I honestly think right now in the current state of the game, Kris the Ageless would be better without that speed buff if you took that out, because right now that messes up with turn order and it messes up with a lot of things. So not the best for that right now, but overall a pretty sweet ability. Oh yeah, he's also got a passive that's pretty good too, eh? And at the start of each round, he places a shield buff on all allies for 2 turns, equal to 50% of the champion's max HP. Also has a 75% chance of placing a 60% defense down debuff and a 50% attack down debuff on the attacker for 1 turn when hit. So they hit you, you give them a ton of reduction to their defenses and their attack. It's just a really insane unit, and he is going to be an all-star if you can manage to pull Kris the Ageless. So those are all the new units right now. I'm going to be working my butt off for this fusion. I've got my stamina ready. I knew it was coming, so I started to save all my stamina, and I'm going to go head first into it and just cross my fingers I can get her done. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to download Raid Shadow Legends, and you should, you could get it in the link description below, and feel free to join me here, and feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I will talk to y'all later. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.